Welcome back to the Have Not Room. I am Ben, and Brian is here with me, and we are going to be talking about Week 3 of Big Brother 25 into Week 4 now. As we record, the HOH comp, the pressure cooker returns, is going to be ongoing, so we might give some updates live. Well, we're not live, but you'll be able to see our reactions live as the pressure cooker happens. How are you doing, Brian?
Hey, I'm doing really well. So this is, I think, the very first time in our show's history that a vote was so uncertain that we were like, we have to record after the eviction episode because we cannot call it.
Yeah.
Usually things are set in stone well before, and our usual recording of Tuesday or Wednesday is
Mhm.
just fine. Nope, not this week. And it still was a unanimous eviction, but this house is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not even the rest of the season. Like, obviously, like last week too, easily could have flipped, and like we ended. I remember we ended recording, and then I turned on the feeds, and there's talk about a flip to save Riley that brewed, and never actually, it solidified, and then it reflipped back. So like,
Yeah,
yeah, no, I mean
we got
we
lucky.
were we were talking on Tuesday, and they spent all of Tuesday like potentially flipping the vote. It got very close to flipping
Mhm.
to keep Heisem, and then again today, even before like hours before the eviction, like 4 hours, 5 hours ago, there was another move to potentially flip. Like the show obviously played with us a little bit because they knew that the flip obviously didn't happen.
Right.
But like it wasn't like out of nowhere. It wasn't like completely fabricated. The flip almost happened, and Tyson almost stayed.
It's so crazy. This house, they don't give themselves any downtime. They're going 100 miles per hour at every moment. It has to be it's exhausting to try to keep up with what's happening as a viewer, as a
Mm-hmm.
fan. It has to be insanely exhausting to play in this
Mm-hmm.
way because other seasons are not not even the All-Star season that
No,
we covered was like this.
especially not the All Star season for sure.
Right,
That was
yeah.
arguably one of the most
That
straightforward
example.
seasons of Big Brother ever, strategically. And even like watching like with the out of my peripherals here with the feeds on and the pressure cooker, there's people like whispering and making comments to each other in the pressure cooker competition while everyone's in the room. It's like they just cannot stop for even 5 minutes.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I love it. I love that they're so insane and so like dedicated to playing the game.
Mhm.
Uh but yeah, it's gotta come a point, where like they give themselves a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah.
Um we gotta get into it because like on paper, right? Coming into this, I was like, well, I don't love the professor's backdooring Heisem.
Mhm.
I think he's, a dedicated member of this alliance. Yes, he had some really bad HOH itis for sure last week, but did that, you know, require him to be, kicked off by his own alliance? I didn't feel it, but after watching the week, it's just like, does it even matter? Because
Yeah.
the
I
professors don't exist anymore. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
think
so
that's the
crazy.
takeaway. Well, I think that the most rational person that you should make that like judgment call from would be Felicia as HOH. Like, was this the best move for her? Probably not. Was it fine? Yeah. Like, is it working out for her? And okay, like yeah. But like this was Cerie's move, right? Like in for Cerie, I know a lot of people have been critical of Cerie. I've definitely criticized Cerie in terms of like some of the things she's done seem like it's kind of like she's throwing, but she's so well insulated socially that it doesn't really matter what she does. Like she could just like do anything, and it was like on paper it's bad, but like it doesn't actually really matter that much because she has Jared obviously,
Yeah.
which in itself is like a huge insulation. She has Izzy, who is like essentially like just as good as having a second, second child in the house with how much she's
Yes.
like. So Izzy's basically playing with two people who are unilaterally loyal to only her.
Mhm.
And then she has the connection to Felicia, and Felicia is within the core, but doesn't really have a ton of outside connections. Like she has some to Mimi, but like a lot of Felicia's game is like filtered through Cirie as well. And then moving out, she has this new kind of seven with Jag and Blue and Matt, and then she has a seven with Cam and Red, and now she has the new, what seems like the new real seven for now, with Corey in America and Mimi. So like that's literally the entire house. Like she has an alliance with the entire house, and everybody thinks that they're the real alliance, and it's very like BB19 Paul-esque, where it's like, why is this working?
Right.
Part of it, obviously, I think is just like the mystique of her and being a returning, but not really a returning player, but like kind of getting a similar shine of a returning player. But part of it is just that she's just that good socially.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I saw someone made a Venn diagram of all the alliances with her just in the middle. It's crazy. If you had to say though, who is her real alliance?
Well, I mean, obviously Jared. Like, I mean, like, who is her real like if I were to like list out the people that she cares about in order, I would say Jared obviously 1, Izzy 2, Felicia 3, and then after that, I don't really think she cares.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I just don't see a way for anyone to dethrone her outside of literally being like, I am going to blow up my own game to try to kamikaze and take Cirie out with an HOH. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might not even work. It might just be like, when Josh and Paul were on the block, and it would have been Josh going home if that had gone through.
Yeah, I don't really see it happening, at least like in the short term, and even in the long term, as long as Jared doesn't massively screw up. And we'll talk about ways in which Jared could massively screw up that have been, we've potentially been fed them. At least the episode has covered this.
He's not just gonna screw up. He's gonna
he's gonna be screwing them blue and
yep.
I would say that's really the only thing that is going to stop Cirie, in my opinion, is Jared kind of like fucking up both of their games, because the only way that I think Cirie hits the final 2 chairs is if Jared is able to run the end game comps and take her with him, because a lot of those end game comps, especially in modern BB, are very physical. And like, I love Cirie, but like she's not winning physical comps against a lot of these players.
Heisman was in such a good spot if he didn't screw up his own game.
Well, yeah, that's why I don't think that like Cirie getting out, like from Cirie's perspective, I don't think her getting out Heisman is that big of a deal, because like she's insulated no matter who wins. She's like basically guaranteed like top 6 at this point, I would say, unless something crazy happens. So like the only thing that she should care about is getting into an end game with people who are just as garbage at her at comps. So she at least has like a shot here and there at like mental comps or whatever. So I don't know.
It's very important for her to take aim at all potential physical comp threats here in the pre-jury phase, which 2 more, right? We're at 13, so 2 more left. You can clip a Jag, a Cameron, a Matt, someone who like you think is just going to be, good at these challenges and take some control out of her hands.
Right now, Red is probably the next target. So
what do you think of that? Is that good for Cirie?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Okay. Yeah.
like like I said, it's like I don't really see a way for her to not just continue to be in control. A lot of people are like, oh, she's so sloppy. Oh, she's like making strategic blunders, but like it, it's really gonna be it's gonna take a lot. Like it's gonna take like a Polly Calafiore
Mhm.
level kind of fall for her to really kind of see any responsibility being taken for her
Mhm.
mistakes.
Yeah, I know Polly's had a, growth arc just recently on the challenge, came out as bi, so, congratulations to Polly. You're very happy for him and living his truth. But
Mhm.
that version of Polly who played in BB18, not really that similar to Sari right now.
Yeah, and I think PB18 also had like much better players on the whole than this house does. Like the only
Mm,
real strategic competition at this point, in my opinion, is this like Corey and America pair that we'll be talking about, is because
mm,
that's kind of the like hope of the viewers, and like Corey
yeah,
and America is like everyone's fawning over them and like cringely shipping them, even though they're not really NS showmats.
right.
Um, yeah. So yeah, I would say Corey, but like it's going to be very difficult for Corey to do anything while being loyal to Jared and while not knowing about Jared and Sari's relationship. And I don't really think anything is going to be able to be done unless that relationship becomes public knowledge.
Mm. Yeah, I mean it we've talked about it. It's a tough draw to be on a season with not only a returning player, but a secret
Hmm.
alliance, built-in secret family relationship here for Corey, who I do think has, you know, positioned himself well given what he knows. But I would have liked to see Corey on a season where, the deck wasn't kind of stacked against him from the jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think that he is very self-aware. Him and America had a couple of very candid conversations yesterday. One in the Have Not Arm, and then one out in the Sky Bridge later after the like new alliance had formed, where he kind of laid out like I don't have a path with Sari, Izzy, Felicia, because like they're always going to just back each other over me. Like I have something with Jared, but even still, Jared is closer to those three than he is to me, and will probably choose them over me, which is correct. Obviously, he doesn't know why, but like it is
Right.
it is the correct read.
Mhm.
Um, so he was like, I didn't have a path, but then I had talks with you, and I was like, this is my path. And I agree, America is his path, but like it's still a very, very, very rocky path.
Yeah. So, how close, for people who maybe didn't watch feeds as dedicated, how close did Heisem come to staying this week?
Mm, it was probably like at a 50 or 60% at a certain point.
That's high for
Yeah.
someone who went out unanimously. That's as close as you can get, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's hard because I don't know. Like, if it would have required Corey to be strong armed because he was very vocally against it. Like, there was a clip that circled of him and the HOH room being like, "What the fuck are these people doing? This makes no sense." So like, this new alliance would have had to come together around that cause more like decidedly, and also Corey would have probably had to be strong armed, probably through like threatening America in some way, to which they were already doing anyways. So it's not like they didn't really have the leverage to strong on Corey. So like I don't know. Like it felt probably a lot closer than maybe in reality it was from watching. But definitely like there were outs for him to stay.
And how do you think he handled like the post renom backdooring? I
Hmm.
think he did, a decent job. Like is when the whole house has decided that they want you out, there's really not a lot you can do.
Hmm.
But I thought what he did, trying to come off as humble and kind of reestablish the trust that he's lost, was the best move he could have possibly done.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he pretty much did everything he could have done after the renam had happened in order to stay. Like, I don't really think he made many mistakes post the back door, but like at that point, your influence is pretty limited, and it comes down to a lot of like just the random whims of other people. So yeah, he definitely did the right work to make it so he theoretically could have stayed, but like, yeah, it's still a lot. You're never gonna have a 100% path when you're in that position. You're gonna like at best get into a coin flip, which is I think what he did.
Yeah, and I was disappointed that his reaction wasn't bigger to being renowned. I was hoping for a Zach Rance style freak
Plus the
out.
Fooligans, yeah.
Yep. That just wasn't the case.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people were kind of expecting that. That's not really his MO. I feel like I think a lot of people just expect everybody to behave that way, but the whole his whole kind of thing was just kind of being like very like calm and direct, but a lot of his calmness and directness rubbed people the wrong way when it was like, in service of himself, or in service of like talking over people, or in service of like pretending to take in information while actually just talking at people and like not actually contributing to a conversation. So I don't know. I wasn't that surprised. It would have been more fun, obviously, if he had blown up, but it also was like, it wasn't that bad to have just like everyone awkwardly standing around while he's just kind of like glaring daggers at people here and there and being like mopey.
Yeah, no, very true. Trying to think anything else here for the week. I guess who do you think most needs to win this pressure cooker comp?
Who most needs to win it? Well, the issue
you said
is
Red is the target, but does he have any idea this is coming?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that the people who need to win know they need to win, but I don't like Cam and Red aren't going to throw it. Cam, especially after being on the block 2 times in a row, they're not going to throw it. They're going to try. Like they might like not try to the degree that they think they should or whatever, but like they're gonna like no one's really gonna try and throw this except maybe like Suri and Izzy. But even Izzy probably shouldn't throw it. So I don't know. I just don't think that anybody who wins is going to do the right thing for their game. So except for there's a couple, obviously. Like I think that Izzy and Jared probably will do generally good things for their games, but like people like Jag and Blue are probably going to fall under the spell of like thinking they're 7, which I can't remember what the fuck that one was called. Was that I think that was 7 Deadly Sins. That one, like they're probably gonna be like, oh yeah, this is a win for the 7 Deadly Sins. Now we can put up Cam and Red or Cam and Bowie with a backdoor of Red or whatever they want to do. And be like, okay, well, that's not really helping you.
Right.
So like, yeah, I just expect everyone who wins is going to do what Suri tells them to do anyways, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. All right. Well, speaking of potentially not really helping, Jared is the showmans.
Yeah. This is the one thing outside of Suri's control that could screw it up.
Great shot from yesterday's episode of her looking like disheartened, somewhat not, I don't want to say disgusted, but just like, Jared, what are you doing? Type of a look.
She knows. I mean, like, she knows she's smart enough to know this is the one thing that could fuck it up.
So I mean, how serious are they?
I mean, they've like, I don't want to like get into the physical stuff or anything, but like they're definitely a full blown showmans. Like they're definitely like a thing. Like it's not a secret. Everyone knows. Yeah, I mean the main strategically relevant thing is that multiple times he's hinted to her that he has a secret that he's not telling her, that he wants to tell her. which is obviously the Cerise son.
Over under before jury, he tells
But
her.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question then becomes,
Will he tell her tonight in the pressure cook?
well, I don't think no. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not happening. But like, will he tell her this week?
Mhm.
Especially like if she wins HOH, will he tell her?
Yeah.
Maybe. Will that be horrific for him in Cerie's game? Yeah, probably. But yeah, so that's really the kind of wild card right now is will Jared when and will Jared eventually tell Blue that he's Cerie's son, and who will Blue tell that information to? Like, will it leak to the entire house? Will she tell Jag? Like, you know, if she tells Jag, I would assume it leaks to the entire house. But like, will she keep it to herself or will she leak it? So that's kind of like what we're looking for at this point to like really kind of shake things up, because at this point it's not going to really shake up outside of that.
Oh man, so that's a huge mess, possibly a huge wrench in the plans. Nothing really you could do about it from Cerie's point of view. Disappointed in my winner pick. You know, I mean, showmans aren't usually horrible for players. It's just complicated, and I don't know if Jared has shown to be like the best decision maker so far. So
yeah,
makes me nervous.
The issues are, one, Jared is bad at Big Brother and basically is riding upon his connection to Cirie and his like marginal social connections. One, two, the value that you get out of a showmance, Jared already has a better version of.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
a great point. Yeah,
there's not really any additional value he's going to get out of Blue, especially because Blue is like Cirie wants her out. Like, she's gonna go out at some point. You know what I mean? Like, she's not gonna go out probably this week or next week, but like, she's not sticking around long term. So like, why, you know, like, there's no strategic value in him investing into her, really. Like, the only way that it would be strategically valuable is like if he was able to control Cirie as opposed to Cirie controlling him, which is not going to happen. Right. So like, it's just, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, obviously, like, he's not doing it for strategic reasons. He's doing it because he's into her. But obviously, we have to evaluate it from a strategic perspective.
Oh man, Jared, come on. What are we doing here?
I mean, look, it doesn't matter. Like, okay, I'll say, like, as long as he can not pointlessly reveal to her that he's Cerie's son, it's not hurting his game. As we talk about Blue, it looks like Blue might have been the first person to be out. Maybe is she just backwards? I can't tell.
The dark doesn't help.
Yeah, it's very hard. She looked like she was off, but I don't see her off now. Maybe it was just a weird angle. I think it was just a weird angle. So never mind. False alarm, everybody. I don't know. I think it's fine. I think like the only better winner pick probably at this point is Cirie. Maybe Felicia, but like I think Felicia has all of the downsides of Cirie and none of the upsides. So.
So we'll see there. I feel like it was a short episode so far, but I don't know what else we have. Do you have any?
Well, what are your thoughts on snot, Brian? There was a lot of snot this week.
A lot of chicken. I mostly was wondering if the snot was, Paramount owns Nickelodeon. Is it slime?
It's probably about the same. I mean,
maybe a different shade.
Yeah,
but
it's not really how many ways is there to make goo like that? I think there's not many.
I can't imagine very many. I wouldn't want to get gooed or snotted on, that's for sure. That challenge they did for the veto looked really difficult and not fun. As I get older, I really relate to Felicia there. It gets the idea of doing a challenge like that gets less fun each year I age. um,
Yeah.
especially doing the clucking and like a chicken. Very it's the Humillaverse, right? So
Yeah, I mean, at least they like full committed to the like theme of just making humiliating challenges for the sake of it. Like, I don't know, because usually they do this just for the fun, right? Like they don't really have a
there's
reason
no
to.
reason to do
Yeah, but now they're like, okay, we've invented a reason why everyone should just be doing these humiliating things because it's the Humillaverse, obviously.
Yeah. So what was it BB12 with the cop in the caramel?
Yeah.
Do you think she did a better job, or you think Felicia did a better job getting through this?
Well, Kathy got permanently stuck.
Yeah, that's
Felicia
true.
Felicia at least didn't seem to get permanently stuck and
Mhm.
need to get help. So like I think Kathy for sure is worse, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Felicia at least made like I think she made what 2 trips, right? So
Yeah,
like,
she had a couple eggs.
yeah, it's better than nothing.
At a certain point, if you're her, would there have been any shame of just like just being like,
Just give up.
this isn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's 12 eggs. People are literally 6 eggs ahead of me. Is
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
Yeah, no. If I'm in her position, I'd 100% throw in. Like, there's no reason to expend your energy, right? Like,
There's no
you
reason
could.
to be in the goo. She's just like in the goo for like 5-10 minutes
Mhm.
each time. Like,
Yeah, you're already getting snotted on as head of household for some
yeah.
reason. So like, there's no reason to like push yourself physically. There's no reason to like. You could probably gather information based off of watching the other people compete, as opposed to just like pointlessly competing yourself.
Right.
When like, also, it's not even strategically correct for Felicia to want to win the veto comp because everyone is using the veto regardless, and the plan is going to be executed no matter what happens. Because like, if Heisem was playing, maybe, but like Heisem isn't playing, so like, there's no value in her winning. It would just like, even if she was phenomenal at it, it would just make her look strong to win a comp she doesn't have to win. Yeah, just throw it. Like, there's no reason to just watch them.
It was just never gonna happen for her to win. So like,
I appreciate the heart, but
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know, but she's been a lot of fun, and I enjoyed her as HOH this week. I don't know if we'll get another HOH from her this season, but I'm glad we got one at the very least. I'm sure I've talked about it on the show. Love the crapshoot comps, especially in the beginning of the season. Give me the most random HOH you can early,
Yeah, I mean, or even like this comp, like this is an anyone can win in theory comp, right? Or like we haven't had a booth comp yet. Like, booth comps are like really good. So I expect probably we'll get one maybe next week. I don't know, because they usually get one by now.
Yeah, they haven't been doing them much lately, and they haven't been showing like an HOH on a Sunday night at all lately. Are they done with that?
I don't know. I think that like I think we'll probably get into it because I feel like they've moved them more towards the middle and end of the season in like recent seasons.
It's always
we'll see.
fun, to be like, oh my god, it's really important if this person wins, and then see how it goes on the Sunday night. BB Twitter's, it's like a sporting event where everyone's tweeting about it as it's happening.
I mean, that's kind of what we're kind of getting right now. Yeah,
this is great. Love feed comps too.
Yeah, any sort of like endurance style competition that you can watch on feeds live, like it's not really something that we as viewers experience very often on Big Brother, because 99% of, or not 99%, but the vast majority of the time the comps are hidden from feeds, and then they just come back. We know who won, and then we're watching on the episode with full knowledge of who won. So
we didn't know how good we had it with BBOTT. We kind of did know, but like, just having live comps was such a game changer.
Yeah. I guess we could we kind of briefly went over the structure of the house. Do you have any like other things you want to like point out that you're aware of, at least, that I missed maybe?
Trying to think through.
Or any conversations, maybe?
No, like I said, I've enjoyed Corey, you know, really positioning himself decently with the info he's had. I like, I like just watching Izzy. You know, she's a bat out of hell all the time, very entertaining. Um, I feel a little bad for Red. I don't think he sees anything coming, which is unfortunate because I think he's a nice enough guy. It seems like. Um, just giving like my opinion on house guests here.
Yeah, you know what I think about Izzy? I never really thought about this until now. She reminds me a lot of Christy, insofar as like she's like a strategic cornerstone of the house and like making a ton of decisions, but she's also like fucking insane and like not really logical or stable at all.
Right.
So like it just creates this chaos out of nowhere that like shouldn't exist. And like in a normal season of Big Brother, neither of them would have been in the position that they were in. But they kind of like Christy and V21 found her way into a power position, partially because of being connected to Tommy, partially just because of the like alliance structure that formed. And similar to here, where you have like Izzy is connected to Cirie, who is the better player, and like influencing her decision making and like mixing up Cirie into a bunch of paranoid delusions. That's creating a lot of chaos. So it's very fun. Like it's fun when bad Big Brother players somehow are running the game.
Yeah, I very much doubt things will flip on Izzy, but like a week where Izzy is worried about being nominated or renommed would be very fun.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like the reason that Cirie is in such a crushing position as well is because because Izzy will always go before her. So if she has like this insurance policy in Izzy, no matter what, unless something crazy happens, like the Jared and Cirie information coming out, like I mentioned. Like her and Jared just having a free insurance policy in Izzy. So I don't know.
Well, this is a great segue. Speaking of insurance policies, we get a superpower coming into the house.
True.
It's gonna prevent someone from being evicted.
Yeah, halting Hex 2.
Halting Hex 2, yeah. So what do you think about this?
I don't like it.
Right.
It probably won't end up mattering.
It makes the whole week potentially null and void. Very interesting.
It probably like similar to the real halting Hex. It probably won't end up mattering. It'll just be kind of revolving dory.
I remember being so disengaged with that week of Big Brother because I was like, oh well, they're gonna go after Cody and Jess, and then she's gonna cancel the eviction. So I don't really care this week.
I mean, that's the whole thing, right? When you have a power structure that's so like well ingrained, like maybe it could mix something up here because in BB19 it was everybody against Jess and Cody, and they were very aware of it, and it was just like, okay, we just have to redo the week and like hope that the comps don't mess it up in a different way. But here, because there's so many substrata alliance situations going on, maybe like for instance, like I don't even know, because the people who are most likely to get it are also like the least likely to get targeted. Like I would say Matt is probably the one who could get it and it would matter. So let's argue Matt gets the power. And Cirie and friends turn on the Seven Deadly Sins Alliance next week, which is not out of the realm of possibility. You get an Izzy or a Jared HOH. It's not impossible that Jag and Blue, Jag and Matt go on the block, right? That could theoretically save the three of them, the Jag, Blue, Matt trio. And then if they subsequently win the following HOH, they've now been broken out of the spell of like, oh, this alliance was fake the whole time, even though it was very obviously fake ahead of time, and you should have realized. But now it's double confirmed that it's fake, and now maybe one of the three of them take a shot at the power structure. But that's like a very specific set of circumstances, because it's like Matt wins the power. Matt is able to use the power on a week that the Seven Deadly Sins Alliance gets turned on. And then one of the three of Matt, Jag, and Blue subsequently win the next HOH. So like it's very narrow that it matters. I would say it's more likely than not just going to be a boring null week that doesn't end up actually changing anything.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, so here's a question. They obviously had the opportunity here to be like, well, we can do a pre-jury buyback, or we can do this twist. I think we can both agree pre-jury buyback would have been more fun.
Yes, I think so. I think like I mean, I would prefer neither. I know a lot of people are like pretty upset that there's no pre-jury buyback. I don't really care. Like even like my winner pick way out second, and I don't care that she doesn't have a chance to go back in. I think like maybe canceling an eviction is like probably like less disruptive, because it doesn't mean that they like leave and come back, which means that like there's maybe more of a chance that it ends up mattering and it's not just a revolving door, because there's no time for them to have been socially outcast by not being in the house. So I don't know. I don't like America votes because usually they screw it up. And I guess the way they're trying to fix it here is how the vote works is the top 4 recipients are going to do like a Sunday night challenge. So I don't know. We'll see. It's also going to be interesting because I think it's not for this coming eviction, right? It's for the one after and the one after that. Or is it for this eviction?
I think it's... I think you're right. The two after.
Because like the second one would be the first jury member, which is a very odd time to do it. It would make more sense to do the last 2 pre-jurors. So I don't really know. I don't know if it's usable this week, then maybe it could matter more, but we'll see. I don't know. I think that like the 4 people who are probably most likely to get votes are America, Corey, Matt, Cirie, and then like maybe Mimi. But like this is also like feeds voting, and I don't know how skewed like
I think Matt will do well with the show watchers.
I agree, which is why I think Matt's pretty locked in, which is why I think I said of the people where it could matter, I think it's Matt's the most likely to get voted in and win.
Yeah.
The comp. So yeah. Because everybody else who I think is likely to get voted in is like in the power structure and probably won't use it, or like maybe will like maybe America uses it if this new 7 falls apart in some way, which is not impossible. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it being relevant.
Yeah. Well, we got to pad out the
yeah, it's 100 days
somehow. So
yeah, we're what on day 23?
Yeah, something like that. So we're not even a quarter of the way through.
Yeah.
They had a house guest ejected, so they're ahead of schedule. So we'll see. Maybe post jury they'll do a buyback. Almost certainly. Or else I don't know how they're gonna reach 100 days.
Well, it depends, I guess. Probably like they probably like will only do a jury buyback if this power isn't used, right? I would say they probably have it like an optional one planned, because like they're setting it up for like, oh, we might cancel a week or we might not. So like they probably have options for either. And if the week isn't canceled, they have to make up a week somewhere else.
Right. Should they have just had it be like I'm trying to think what they were called. And BB20, the apps with
Oh yeah, the Extra Life.
yeah, the Extra Life, where it's just like if whoever is like there right before the jury, if it doesn't get used, is just gonna automatically get a chance to stay.
Um, well, I mean, even in that case, that was screwed up, and they had to like, that's probably why the Scotty buyback happened,
Right.
because they were off schedule. Because in that case, they were like, "Oh yeah, it's a free buyback." Oh yeah, oh oops,
Like
Caitlin's been put together
literally
a puzzle.
free,
Yeah.
like as free as it could be. But
So I mean, even there, it wasn't guaranteed. Everyone assumed it was guaranteed, but
mm,
it wasn't. So I would say that's probably honestly the best comparison point, which is like if it doesn't get used, we'll probably get a, a post-jury buyback on the Scotty schedule.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see there. All right. Anything else you want to touch on before we get on out of here?
No, everyone's still in the comp,
I
from
know,
what I can
crazy.
tell. Yeah. So we're like over an hour in. That's pretty good. I know a lot of people were skeptical that it would go anywhere close to the 14 hours that the original went, but it doesn't really seem like they're doing anything to really to spook them other than them just being in the dark. Which doesn't really matter in my opinion. So that's nice. Yeah, this could definitely go all night from what I can tell so far.
Yeah, and poor Felicia. She's on the other well now right now as I'm speaking, she's on all of the cam feeds for some reason, just finding stuff to do in the house, keep herself entertained alone.
I mean, yeah, it's probably like a little bit of much needed mental relaxation from the game.
That's true. That's true. I like I said, I would be laying down. I'm not gonna clean the house while everyone else is out there.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably be. Well, I guess it depends. So it's like kind of late. It's like 8ish there. I mean, I would probably eat. I'd probably make some snacks or something.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she had some food.
Yeah,
I think she's making tea now.
Yeah,
so
that's the play, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, fun week, interesting week as always. And anything you want to plug?
No, I mean, I've I've tweeted a few times, which is more than I have previously outside of the Big Brother season. So yeah, if you want to follow me there, I'll probably post something. Like I posted a thing about the Korean America conversation very briefly, and it wasn't really that. I didn't really say anything like super, crazy or like. I was just like, man, it's nice to have somebody who's just like saying candidly what their thoughts are to another player. It's like refreshing, which it was very refreshing to hear Corey just lay out all of his thoughts to America. Yeah, I don't know. Follow me there if you want that kind of like boring content.
Yeah, so go follow them. Follow me on Twitter at the Fake Mar. It's right there. Other than that, get a sports channel looking good sports. We just did a podcast with the creator and the executive producer of Survivor New York. They're doing a live season. So if you're not interested in the pressure cooker, I'm sure it won't be going on all weekend like Survivor New York is. Go check out their Facebook pages, check out that podcast, and other than that, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.